Welcome to the Margarita Room with Dutch.
Hey y'all, what's good in the hood? Hi,
Hey,
how are you?
I'm good. Fantastic.
Welcome to the show. And for all those that are viewing this now or in the future, thank you so much and welcome back to the Margarita Room. I am your hostess, Dutch, and that's Shaka. And we're here today on this new moon in Aquarius to, talk some shit. You know what I'm saying? Talk some shit. So thank you for being here. Thank you for being here. If you've been to this channel before, thank you so much for returning. If you have not been here before, thank you so much for joining. And if I could just ask y'all one favor, if you just hit that subscribe button, you right there, hit that subscribe button. It'll help the channel out so much more than you ever know. Give us a thumbs up, give us a share, comment, and yeah, thank you. I think that's all I had to say. Oh, wait, I got something else to say. The ethers are ethering, okay? So what that means is that your girl's internet, it right now, it's doing beautifully. Thank you, ethers. However, if I happen to cut out, I'll be back in 2 seconds, okay? Promise. And Shaka, don't just sit there like, talk to the people! Talk to the people. Woo! All right. Well, let's get into it, y'all. So it's the new moon, Shaka. Can you believe it? Already.
Yeah. I guess so. It kind of happens every 4 weeks. So, I mean, I stay ready for that new moon, you know? So, yeah.
Absolutely. Happy new moon in freaking Aquarius, y'all. Oh, wait. Yeah, there are a few things I wanted to say first. Make sure you like, share, subscribe, follow. That's my, what do you call that? Screen name. Come through, AOL.
URL? You
remember AOL back in the day? You had a screen name?
Vaguely, yes.
You don't remember your screen name? My screen name was, what was it? Honeybee 112. Do you remember yours?
I don't think I had one. I didn't have an account.
Oh,
yeah,
girl, I was all up in them chat rooms, all
Honeybee. up. Come through, Honeybee.
Oh my God. No, that's dangerous. Anyway, and if you're feeling generous, cash up your girl. Holla at me through email if you want. That's my email right there. And of course, for energy healing services, Reiki, access bars, tarot, oracle, Sparkle Journey, that's my website. It's thebutterflyhippie.com, or holla at my email, hello@thebutterflyhippie.com. So that's it with all the promo, y'all. All right, so back to this new moon in Aquarius. Let's talk about it.
Yeah, let's talk about it.
Yeah. So go ahead.
No, I was going to say, so new moons generally are about manifesting, about setting intentions, new starts, new beginnings, setting things in motion, and full moons are fruition, things culminating, reaping the rewards, letting go, moving beyond. That's generally the cycle. And so we often think that the new moons, we were just talking about this before we went live. So we often think that the new moons are, and the full moons are related within a monthly period, but actually they're related to the opposite sign that happens 6 months later and 6 months previously. So this new moon in Aquarius will be related to the full moon that will then happen in August. I don't know the dates, don't ask me, but there will be a full moon in August, which it will be in Leo season. And that will be related because Aquarius and Leo are both opposite signs. So whatever you're manifesting now, be thinking about this coming into fruition in August, and obviously looking forward to the full moon. That'll be related to the new moon that happened 6 months previously in the opposite, in the same sign. So that's generally how I understand it works. Yeah.
Come through knowledge. Come through knowledge. Okay. I love it. So, Mama Moon, she peaked at 5:59 p.m. Eastern Standard Time today. So just about an hour ago was when, over an hour ago, that's when the new moon peaked. That's when it's at its fullest, its brightest. And this is actually a excuse me. Come through, ginger beer. Y'all know that I haven't been drinking, and this is a good substitute. Ginger beer, it's spicy, and also a good substitute for soda too, because it's delicious.
Healthier. Yeah.
Love it. Anyway, so what was I saying? The new moon peaked at 5:59 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, right? Today, it's February 9th. So what does the new moon in Aquarius mean? Like Shaka said, it is an opportunity, right, for new beginnings. And it's a manifestation. Manifestation. And it's also an opportunity to initiate a beginning that is a radical break from the past by allowing yourself to release old patterns and ways of thinking, especially in Aquarius, y'all. Aquarius, they are characteristically detached, right? They're free-flowing, they're creative. So embody this Aquarius new moon, full force. It's also a time for spiritual communication and supreme manifestation, just like Shaka said. Just like Shaka said. And, we have a pre-shadow, which started on the 6th. And then we have a post-shadow for this energy, which ends around the 12th. However, a good friend of mine who was an astrologist said that we could probably hone this new moon energy up until the 19th of this month.
Wow.
Okay. So that means take advantage, y'all. Take advantage of making radical breaks from your past. It's so great to change. And what else is possible? There's endless possibilities in change. Right?
Yeah, I felt that. Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, y'all.
I love that saying that you have. What else is possible? I love it. Just open the field right up to, all the things you haven't even thought of yet.
Absolutely. Yeah, and I keep saying your name, Shaka, Shaka, Shaka. And I haven't even introduced you yet to the people, okay? Let alone with the freaking interview. I haven't even introduced you. Y'all, this is my sis right here. This is Shaka Lish. She is a yoga teacher. She is an author. She is What else? Oh, you are a psychic. You are a tarot. Yes, you are. Yes, she is. She is a tarot reader. She's formerly part of in politics over in the UK. I mean, the list can go on and on and on and on. Welcome, Boo. Thank you so much for being here with me.
Oh man, I'm so glad to be here with you. So yeah,
Woo-hoo!
thank you.
And also, she's from London, y'all. She's from London. Y'all hear that accent? Y'all hear that accent? Y'all hear that accent?
Yay! And I noticed in your intro you had it's a London accent. Like your intro, you got like, yeah, welcome to the Margarita. I was like, that's a London accent. I was like, yes. So you've been manifesting the London energy into yes.
Come through, Bristol. I'm going to Bristol, y'all.
Yes.
I'm going to Bristol. So I'm working on it. I'm working on my accent. Yeah. So anyway, let's get back into this new moon real quick, right? So it's a new moon in the sign of Aquarius. And Aquarius in Latin translates to the water bearer. Did you know that?
I knew that the Aquarius was the water bearer, but I didn't know the actual word Aquarius was translated from Latin. So
yeah. And it's that's interesting. Is it? Yeah, that's what I read. It translates to the water bearer.
It is the water bearer. Yeah.
Yes, it is. It is the sign of that. So,
but it's an air sign.
Yes, it is an air sign.
Air sign, but
interesting, right?
Yeah.
Very interesting. So it's a fixed air sign. And when the sun is in the sign of Aquarius, that's from January 20th to roughly February 18th. And it's ruled by Uranus, the planet of innovation, change, and advanced technology.
Can I just add?
Yeah.
So I believe this is now, no, don't quote me on this now. I believe I saw somewhere that there's 5 signs in Aquarius at the moment. 5 planets, sorry. So when there's 3 planets in one sign, this is called a stellium. So this is quite influential. This means like it's a really big thing. So to have 5 planets in one sign and in a sign such as Aquarius, which is ruled by Uranus, which is all about innovation and change and shaking up the routine and doing things differently. This is considered this is a big moment, like astrologically.
I agree.
Real time to really shake it up. This is an opportunity.
Absolutely.
In all areas, like all these different areas. Yeah.
Absolutely. We spoke about that a couple of weeks ago when Pluto was squaring Aquarius, and we had the full moon, right? So it's the time of unrest, the time to shake it up, the time to change it up, to just do new shit.
Yeah.
It's a big
moment because Pluto is moving out of my sign.
Yeah.
It's been in my sign for 15 years. And that's been life-changing.
Yes.
Like I've had a real life change. And it seemed to coincide with my Saturn and all these kinds of things. And then and then it moved into Aquarius. So yeah. And the last time it did that was in 17 something. So yeah. I think we've lost Dutch. She'll be back. Look at this gorgeous screenshot of her. She'll be back. I guess the internet, the ether is ethering. So maybe I'll just finish that thought. I think the last time that Pluto was in Aquarius, because Pluto moves into each sign, I think around the zodiac every 200 and something years. So it's a slow mover. It's a generational planet. So it's considered when it moves into a different sign, this is a really big deal. It's a really big moment. So the last time it was in Aquarius was, 17 something or the other. And so there was a lot of things happening in the 1700s, for those who know history. I don't know if you came onto this podcast expecting that you were going to hear about history, but there was obviously the French Revolution, the Industrial Revolution. It was a big moment of change, really, when I guess you could say, really the genesis of global capitalism really established itself in the world. So yeah, I don't know if you heard any of that.
No, I did. I heard of capitalism in the world. Tell me. Thank you so much. You did a great job, girl. You did a great job. What were you telling people?
I was just talking about the 1700s. So basically the last time that Pluto was in Aquarius, essentially. So it's a time of great change. It's a big century of change. So yeah, I'm kind of just talking about the way Pluto moves. It's a slow mover, generational mover. So yeah.
Okay, well, thank you for that. Yeah, we spoke about that last show, that it was 1777, right? So we had the American Revolution, we had the French Revolution, we had the Industrial Revolution, just lots and lots and lots and lots and lots of things going on. You know what I mean? So it's time for change, y'all. You can do it. So just to recap the characteristics of an Aquarius before we move on, Aquarius are known to be creative, free-flowing, technical, independent, and detached, y'all. So get in your Aquarius bag, y'all. Get in your Aquarius bag. It's time. Manifestation, you got this. Woo! All right, y'all, let's take a deep breath in through the nose, out through the mouth. do you ever just sit there and realize that you're tense? You need to like shake it out a little bit?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
When I noticed that, I just right? Because you can feel tight in your shoulders or your mouth. You realize that you're gritting your teeth or your tongue is at the roof of your mouth. And it's like, ooh, sis, chill out.
Love you.
So let's get into it. Shaka Lish. You know, so I go by a couple of different names. I go by, my government name is Ricky. Yes, my government name is Ricky, Rikki. And then I've got many other nicknames, right? I've got Dutch, which is short for Duchess. That's another story we'll get into another time, how I got that name. Rick. Honeybee. Okay. Honeybee.
Honeybee.
Come through, Honeybee. Come through. Yes. Listen. That's why you got kids on the internet, y'all. You listen, because in them chat rooms, I was just a kid. Anyway. So back to my names, right? And then at one point in time, I got married. Yes, your girl got married. That's another story. That's another story for another time. My point is that when I was getting married, I told my ex-husband that I was not going to take his name. And he was pissed. Do you hear me? He was pissed. He was mad. Girl, he was mad. And I was like, yo, I like my last name. And besides, it's just a name anyway. It's just a name.
Can I ask you, if you'd have liked his last name, would you have taken it? Or was it just the principle?
If I would have liked his last name, I might have hyphenated it. I might have hyphenated it.
Yeah.
Right? Anyway, so I told him, you know, it's just a name. It's just a name. However, names are not just names. Names are not just names, right? I learned that very recently. So your name, Shaka Lish. Yeah. You want to change your name?
Yes. My last name. Yeah. So Shaka's my born name. That's the name my parents gave me when I was born. Named after Shaka Zulu. But yeah, I've never resonated with my last name, which was my dad's surname, which is it's a Scottish colonial name. He doesn't even know his dad, and it's his dad's name. And I'm like, why are we taking this name? It doesn't mean it's colonial. I don't want that. We don't have any connection to the man whose name passed this on. So like, why are we continuing this name? And so I really had a strong desire to change my name. And then Shaka Lish is just the name that got given to me when I was in my 20s, when I used to dance and sing and perform, and I was just like young and sexy, and I used to dance, and my dancers used to call me Shaka Licious because they were like, Shaka Lish, you know.
Wow.
And then,
you're still young and beautiful and can sing and dance and perform. Come through. New beginning.
And so it was like Shaka Lish got abbreviated, so I've been like Shaka Lish for like forever. And then I don't know, at some point you kind of got to go, right, I feel like I need a mature name. Like I feel like I need a name that kind of represents energetically where I am, which doesn't mean I'm not still delicious, of course.
Yes.
I mean, it just means I just like maybe my character, my energy, there's a real desire to kind of like, honor that.
So do you mind telling the people what the name is? Because I think it's gorgeous. Thank
you. So it's Zolani, which is a Zulu name. Shaka Zolani.
So who is Shaka Zolani? Who is that?
So it's interesting. So Zolani is a name that's I've held with me for a long time. So it's a Zulu name that means peace. So it means peace or peacefulness in Zulu. And obviously my name Shaka is a Zulu name. So I wanted an African name, or I knew that I wanted an African name to honor my African roots and to keep in touch with my ancestry and the genesis of my ancestry before it was rudely interrupted by slavery and colonialism. But obviously I don't know where my people are from. I don't know where my ancestry is. So originally I was kind of looking at Western Africa and thinking about, but I don't have a connection to those tribes. And that's the thing of being in the diaspora. We you know what I mean? We're kind of a little bit sort of, where do we belong? Like, where's our place? So I knew I wanted a Zulu name because it would match, my born name, which is Shaka. So Zolani seemed right. And Shaka Zulu is a warrior king. So he's a fighter, a warrior. So Zolani means peace. So for me, I guess this means I'm a peaceful warrior. Maybe that's who Shaka Zolani is now, a peaceful warrior, someone who's fighting for peace. Fighting for peace? Do you fight for peace? I don't know.
Come through. I love that. Fighting for peace. You come from a place called London, right?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
And before you became an expat, your home, you called home London.
Yes.
Right. And in London, you were into politics.
Yeah. It's hard not to be into politics when you live in these cities. Yeah.
Let's talk about, and I can actually really agree with you. And not even so that I was so much into politics. I was very just deeply involved in the election of 2016 with Trump and everything. That consumed my life. And it was horrendous, actually. It was horrendous. So what are politics like in the UK? What exactly did you do? And how did it coincide with your soul?
Yeah, it's interesting. So, it's interesting you mentioned 2016. So in 2016 in the UK, we had Brexit. We had the Brexit vote and the UK voted by a slither of a margin to leave the European Union, the political construct of the European Union Parliament, which I did not vote for. I don't think the UK should have done that, but there we are. And definitely I noticed that the energy of the country changed literally overnight. I feel that's part of probably the genesis of why I am now an expat or a migrant.
Come through.
Depending on which side of the fence you're on, but and I was always I really became political after the Iraq war, to be quite honest. So that was like the kind of my political awakening. Up until that point, I just thought things are what they seem, and I just accepted the world as it was on face value. And then I think that was when my ideas about politics it dissolved. I was like, oh my God, these politicians, they're lying. They're absolutely lying, and they have agendas that they're not telling us, and it just seemed very obvious to me. And then I got completely radicalized. I used to went on every peace march, and got utterly radicalized. And then went and studied politics and history and philosophy at undergrad level as an adult student, as a kind of late bloomer. And then just really wanted to educate myself about the state of the world, like why things are the way they are, what's the history, what's the mechanics behind it. And then eventually got involved in a political party, the Green Party in the UK, and then stood for Parliament, stood for local elections, and kind of got really involved in like party politics in the UK. Yeah, and then that really, I think standing for Parliament, that was in 2017, and then that was when I was like, yeah, no, this ain't for me, because I'd already started teaching yoga. I was kind of no, I wasn't teaching yoga at that time. I'd already been practicing for about 9 years. And then, so kind of really on my, holistic well-being, spiritual journey. And, for me, Green Party seemed like the party that was for people like me, like, vegan, like, tree hugger, into these kinds of things. Nature, like, nature is our greatest teacher. Like, we want to live in harmony with nature. We want to protect nature. We want to learn ways that we can create abundance without, extracting nature and stripping her bare, and really looking like, so it felt to me like this is what I represent. And then I got into politics, and I realized that, again, it's a facade. It's all what you see is not the whole thing. And I just said, you know what? It's not my destiny. It's not my dharma to rinse my life force in this arena and change nothing, because ultimately,
rinse your life force. Did y'all hear that? Rinse her life force. Wow.
No. Yeah, it's not for me. And also, I realized that, particularly in the UK, I mean, you probably relate, in the US, the way that the political structures are created, it means that you as a politician don't go into politics and change things. You are changed by the structure of the politics. So you have to then become a particular kind of person to operate within that arena and within that field. And that's what the structure demands. So there is no way of changing anything through established politics, because ultimately it's designed that way.
Woo!
So, yeah.
That was a word. That was a word. You don't get into politics, or you think you get into politics to actually make changes, right? However, when you start working for that type of construct, you then become the mold of that construct. Woo! That resonates so deeply with me. So deeply in my former life, my former employer. Wow. And I do have to say, though, if you are lucky, you are able to make, even if it's this much of a change,
yes,
then that's beautiful. Wow. Okay.
And there are, and I want to pay homage, actually, on that note. I think it's important to pay homage to those people who are working, who have that desire to create change, positive change, that's in their hearts, and they believe that's their avenue. I'm like, absolutely. Like, I'm not denigrating anyone in working in any of those fields or working in any of these places. I've got very good close friends who still very much feel like that these avenues can be, these are the way, that's how you create change. Just for me personally, I just said, peace out. No, that's not my avenue. That's not my path. Ricky. Oh no. Ricky needs to come back to ask another question. I don't know where to go now from here. I guess I don't know if I just continue to talk about politics. Where to go from here? Politics. Yeah, I think that's it. I think that's all I would say, is that I think we can create change in whichever avenues we're in, and you've got to just know your lane. You've got to know where your energy suits you. You've got to find those places where your resonant energy is resonating with your environment. And I think this is where this maybe concept of correspondence, where energetically you're in places that match you, and then I think this is what creates change. So yeah, I think there are people that work within those fields that find way to create change, that find way to make a difference. Like I said, I've got very good friends and family who work in different fields, and I'm sure many of our listeners are working different fields. You're back.
I'm back.
I was just waffling on.
I love the waffling on. Once again, thank y'all for rocking with me. As I mentioned in the beginning of the broadcast, my internet is going in and out. So if I cut out, I will be right back. Just rock with your girl. I thank you so much for sticking around. Yeah, so I heard you saying people work in different industries.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and making a difference in different parts. There isn't one way of making a difference, is what I would say. Yeah, and we need to remember there isn't just one way.
Absolutely. So how does it feel to be an expat, to be living away from your home country? You live in beautiful Costa Rica. That is how we met. How does it feel, sis, to be an expat? Tell me. And how did it happen for you? How did it happen, and how does it feel?
It's amazing. I mean, well, obviously Costa Rica is a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful country. It stole my heart and my soul. I mean, it's just such a soulful place, such a place with so much heart, so much soul, so much depth, so much beauty here. And I came here and I felt like I got like, what's the thing, what they called the defibrillator? I feel like I got like, oh wow, I got brought back to life. And I said, there's absolutely no way I can go back to that. Like I cannot go back underwater again. This is where life is. This is life. This is breathing. This is real. This is the experience I want. So yeah, I came here on holiday. And it was quite progressive, but by the third week, I was here for 4 weeks. And by the third week, I was like, okay, this is where I want to be. I cried all the way home. I literally cried. I cried on the bus. I cried at the bus stop, I cried on the taxi, I cried on the plane.
Why were you crying?
All the way home, because I didn't want to leave. I didn't want to go back. And then, so I made that decision. I went back within 3 months. I sold everything I owned. I sorted out my life and came back. And I just came back. So yeah, and it's a leap of faith, it's a big leap of faith. It's a big risk, there's a lot of precarity involved, but it's very much where my heart is, and I just have to follow it. So I trust that. I've learned to trust this now. I get that energy, that pull, and I just learned to trust it. I don't really question it anymore. I just follow it. And so here I am, and yeah, I feel deeply inspired. I feel more deeply connected to my work. The work that I was already doing in London. So I was already teaching yoga, working energetically, reading cards, working as a psychic, working as an energy healer, a masseuse. And then so just really feeling like coming into this land, it's really like, I don't know, like really increased my connection to my life force, if we want to say, like, and that's my purpose. That's where I'm supposed to direct my energy and bring my gifts into the world, my offerings into the world. And I just feel like so much more aligned here and able to do that. And by the grace of God and by the grace of this land, I've been supported, I've been held, I've been healed. So I feel incredibly grateful to be here, incredibly grateful for my journey here. Yeah.
What did your people say, right? So you said once you left here to go back to London to gather all your stuff, first of all, you cried all the way home.
Yeah.
And then what did you do once you got home? Who was the first person you told that you were moving back?
I think probably my friends, my good friends, who are actually here in Costa Rica visiting me at the moment. Yes! They might be tuned in. I don't know. They hi if you tuned in. Yeah, shout out. I think they kind of followed my whole journey while I was out here. So I think they were the first to know, because I told them as soon as I thought of the idea. I was like, I think I might do this thing. And to be honest, you know, I'm very, very lucky. I feel very blessed. All of the people around me, my close knits, you know, my family, and even my extended, you know, people that I work with, my extended community in different areas, have all been incredibly supportive. My clients, I feel very grateful. Everyone was like, go for it, do it. Like, you know what I mean? Like, go on. Like, I actually got pushed out the door. You know what I mean? So I feel like, I was very supported. Very lucky. I feel incredibly lucky for that as well.
That's beautiful. So how long have you been here?
Since April 2023.
Okay, so we got here at the same time.
Yeah.
You know, literally my story is kind of the same as your story as far as how we got here. However, a lot of people that I have met and are meeting who are expats, Black women, Black female expats, moved here in April 2023. Yes, multiple.
Wow.
So I wonder what was going on in the ethers at that time. I gotta talk to my astrologer to find out, because you know, that's a really good way of tracking things. So you leave London, you're a yoga teacher in London, you're an energy healer in London, and then you come here to Costa Rica.
Yes.
And you get a job teaching yoga.
Yes. Yeah. By luck, really.
by luck? Okay.
I'm lucky, but yeah.
Okay. So let's talk about yoga. I have been practicing yoga for easily 20 years. I started off doing hot yoga. I've probably been practicing since 2002, definitely.
Okay.
I started off with hot yoga, and for those who don't know, that's, you know, in a room, in a studio, and the temperatures are like 103 degrees. And then it wasn't until I moved here to Costa Rica that I started doing non-heated yoga. So let's talk about yoga. Let's talk about being Black and female in yoga, and your experience of being a teacher, being a student. You know, what has your experience been?
You know, I think it's a really interesting question. So I really make a distinction between the practice, which is a universal practice, which really, the practice is not interested in identity, who you are, what garbs you wear, what skin color, you know, all of these labels, right? And then you've got the practice, which is practiced within studios or places, and, you know, that do recreate, you know, sites of like inequality or discrimination. But to be honest, for me, my connection just felt so deep and so strong. Like, no one was ever going to bypass my connection to this universal practice. It's a birthright. And I think every person should understand that there's nothing and no one that can stop you from accessing the riches of your birthright. And this is a universal practice for each and every human who wants to, decides to take up this practice. So to be honest, like, I mean, maybe it's just I'm stubborn. Maybe I just don't have that awareness or something. But it just really never I mean, I've had many conversations around race, particularly in London. I mean, like, and obviously I'm sure you know the same in America, you know, there's a lot of inequality, a lot of discrimination, and it's recreated in these spaces. And we think of yoga as being the great equalizer. It's this universal practice bringing people together. So why don't the studios, you know, why does that not happen? So again, talking about blog, I've got a blog that I share. I wrote a piece a number of years ago around this, about a particular yoga studio within London that was a big chain studio that was like, and they kind of had a discussion around, basically diversity. This kind of stuff, and you know, but we're not talking about just racial diversity, but economic diversity, you know, you know, body diversity, all these kinds of ways in which we all are showing up in, you know, in our multitude of different ways, and how can we have access. Yeah, and how can the practice meet us where we are? And you know, my argument really was that ultimately the studios are operating within the structures of that place. They're just like, at the end of the day, if the studios work in such a way, unless they become cooperatives, which I was going to do a campaign to try and persuade them to become a cooperative, and I was like, that's the only way that you're really going to change that capacity of making those spaces more accessible. But also, you got to recognize, you know, a yoga studio is a business within a capitalist economy. It's just the way it is. There's certain imperatives that are, you know, they have to follow. But also remember, you've got yoga happening in churches. You've got yoga happening in community centers. You've got church happening on the beach. You've got yoga happening. You know what I mean? You've got funded yoga. You've got yoga that's funded by charity. So there are other spaces where yoga is happening, and it's accessible, and it's rich, and it's raw, and it's direct. And we mustn't forget that. We mustn't lose sight of that. That's always happening. So don't get caught up in the hype that Lululemon and, you know, Aloe and that is yoga. Like, I mean, don't get me wrong, they've got a massive platform, and they, you know, but that's not, you know, so we mustn't get caught up in the hype. You know?
We mustn't. And thank you for showing me a different avenue. Because like I said, I have been practicing yoga for 20 years, and every time I would do a stretch and look, you know, open my eyes at the other practitioners, I was always seeing a blonde ponytail. You know what I mean? I was the only Black woman. Shout out to Saturn. Hey, Saturn. Saturn's daughter, Paris, is in the building. Hey, another gifted witch. Thank you for tuning in. So yeah, you know, I would turn around and be the only person of color practicing yoga. I do have to say, at the yoga shala that I practice at now, said, you know, it is diverse at times. However, you know, 9 times out of 10, when I walk into a class, I am still the only Black woman there. So let's bring yoga to all places and spaces across this globe and make it accessible to every man, woman, and child. Especially Black, Indigenous people of color. That is our birthright. Just like you said, Shaka, that is our birthright, to harness the peace of the practice. Absolutely. So thank you for that. So as we get into our bodies with yoga, right, you also are a womb healer. You're a womb healer. You do womb massages, and I'm so excited to get my womb massage. So here's the question I really want to ask. I know many women who have had hysterectomies. I know young women, I know middle-aged women, I know older women who have had hysterectomies of all races. Okay. starting to think that there's an attack on
Mm.
the wombs of women.
Yeah.
I mean, what's good?
Yeah, I mean, I would maybe slightly reframe it.
Okay.
I think what it is a condition of living that is making women disconnect and detach from their womb space. And it's almost like it's a necessity for survival. Women are being forced almost to be disconnected from our life force, our site of creation, our site of intuition, our site of creativity, our life force, right? And I think that's, I mean, you're talking about, endometriosis, fibroids, all of these kinds of conditions that are happening around the womb space. And obviously with women's health, no one really understands women's health, women's bodies, women's sexuality, the way in which our bodies work, and particularly around the womb, there's a real deep connection. I know we've lost you again, Ricky, but I'll just keep talking. But there's a real deep connection between, psychosomatic connection between our emotional health and the health of our womb. So if we're not really paying attention to that part of our body, then definitely, I mean, we can get, there's lots of conditions and things that can happen. And so I hope with my work, with working with the womb, with womb massage, it's just helping women connect to that part of their bodies in a more profound way, so they can hear the messages of their body, so that they can connect with themselves again. And I guess I'd take it to on a personal level. I spent pretty much the whole of my 20s being utterly disconnected from my body, really being, my cycle, my bleed, my moon was really an inconvenience. It was something that was like, it's getting in the way, like it's stopping me from doing what I want to do. It's stopping me from not being able to keep up with the competitive environment that I was. You're back.
I'm back.
I was just continuing to talk. So I was just basically talking about kind of my own personal experience, how we disconnect, why we disconnect from our womb. And it's often because we know you got to work, you got to be competitive, you got to be out there, you got to be doing it, you got to make it happen, you got to be boss, you got to be, you know what I mean? And this is very not, that's not feminine energy. Like that's not how our bodies work. And we just live in a world that doesn't honor our bodies. There isn't really a space where our bodies as women can fully be honored in our own rhythm, in our own ways. And the way that this whole thing is set up and structured is not for us. It's it's built by men for men. And sometimes I think it's done on purpose. Someone would say, that's what I say. Some would say, it's there to bring you down as a woman. But some would just say it's just considered that the male perspective is the universal perspective, and we're just sort of other men that are sort of slightly different, inferior men. But we're not. We're not. We've got our own rhythm and our own process and our own connection to our bodies. And I think a lot of what we're seeing is that necessity of women having to disconnect themselves from or disconnect ourselves from our bodies. That
makes so much sense.
Yeah. So, my work with womb, womb healing is to help women, give them back that connection, bring them back to listen to the voice of their womb. That's where our, is that your dog?
I felt something, and then she moved. She looked at me like, "Damn, Ma," and I said, "Sorry." I felt a bug on me. Sorry, Mommy. Oh, she literally looked at me with the side eye because I moved the chair. Sorry.
I just have my little one. She's biting me. I'm like, can you show me no bite? She wants to bite me. No, all right, okay, just all right. I don't know what you want.
Kurkuma, hi, my love. Yeah, so back to the womb and the womb massage. Now, what exactly happens during a womb massage?
Well, a lot of things happen actually. So it's a physical, energetic, almost shamanic experience, really. So there's a kind of the tradition. Well, my teacher who taught me, so she kind of borrowed from two traditions. There's kind of two main traditions. One of them is comes from Mexico. So there's a kind of whole tradition of indigenous knowledge and wisdom that comes through, of how women have been looking after ourselves and each other, and finding these different ways to honor our bodies. And one of them is this womb massage, and it's very good for different times, postpartum, trying to increase fertility. Like I said, any number one of these issues, like, endometriosis or fibroids, or even any kind of post-operation.
Okay, so if someone has had a hysterectomy, do you recommend a womb massage?
Absolutely, because you still want to be able to connect to that energy center. So although maybe the womb itself is not there, you still want to connect to that energetic part of yourself that has been there. And even men, I'd say I obviously that's not where my work is marketed to. It's not marketed to men, but it is open to men, for men that want to experience this and maybe want to, again, even connecting to their inner, I don't want to say inner feminine, I don't know how I would describe it, but a kind of way of connecting to that feminine ritual within themselves. And they can benefit greatly from it. I've given it to one man, and it was life-changing. So
wow, come through, man, male clients that don't have wombs, that are born men, or y'all know what I mean. Just come through.
Absolutely.
Wow.
And it's very, very, like I said, it's quite ritualistic. So there's the massage itself, but then there's a whole process of energetics and kind of bringing a person back together again, basically drawing all the little threads of yourself and bringing them in, reconnection. And it's a really beautiful, beautiful practice. I'm very honored to be able to share it. And it's very powerful.
Well, thank you so much in advance for sharing this practice with me for our next massage. I'm super excited. I know.
I really love it. I love.
Get your hands on my womb. Get your hands on my womb. Get your hands on my womb. Yes. And it feels like another woman rubbing my womb. That gives me the feel of like sister, of love, of just like honor. Honor, right?
Yeah.
Wow.
It's powerful.
It feels powerful to me already.
Because it's incredibly intimate space that we don't that rarely do, other hands go to, and it's really to be giving that loving touch. It's incredibly powerful. Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, speaking of power, right? You are a very powerful woman. You've got many different gifts, and one of them is being a psychic.
Yes. I work as a psychic.
And tarot, as a gifted tarot reader. Now, when did you realize that you were a witch? Do you like that word? Because some people, some people are like, hear that word, they're like, oh my God, you know what I mean? However, I got my Modern Witch tarot cards right here, and the word witch is right here. So I am a witch. I am a gifted, talented witch, and so are you. So when did you realize that you were gifted?
I think maybe 2011 was kind of like where I felt like, oh, right, okay, there's something here. But I think 2018 was a big moment for me. It's when I say I had like a kind of psychic event, I suppose. I was already reading cards, but that was when I don't know what happened, man, but I felt like, I don't know what happened, but I call it a psychic event. Suddenly I was like channeling all the time. Like it was like literally blah, 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 and it was like literally was walking out on the street, and I like just go on the train and I'd be like bam, and I'd be like, oh my god, I'm just seeing all of this stuff, and it was rather overwhelming. I thought I was going mad, but I see now I was being attuned. I realized I was being attuned, and then that's when my readings became like really started to become more powerful. I started to read for other people, and then suddenly everyone would tell their friends and tell their friends. So then suddenly I had, like a client base of people that, would come to see me regularly, and still do. And that's kind of, and still working in that arena, still honing my skills, still very much a student as well. I'm also a teacher. I teach psychic development. For my school that I practice that. So yeah, just it's a continuation. It's like, like any of these things, it's just a continual learning journey. So yeah.
Come through! Psychic development course. I took one of those probably 2 years ago. My good friend and sis, Emily Grote, she's a world-renowned psychic and medium. She had a psychic development course, and I signed up for it. The most eye-opening course I have ever taken in my life. I learned so many skills. And what I realized during that class was that I'm not fucking crazy. I'm not crazy.
Yes.
I know exactly. Yes. I'm not crazy.
Yes. Yeah. 100%. And I think that's really important, because it is like that. You just, like you kind of, you're getting all these messages and you think, my God, like, and it really can help you, connect to that, which is like, I'm not going mad.
I'm not going mad because this isn't a coincidence.
Yes.
Like, you knew this was going to happen.
Yes.
You're gifted. You are gifted. So what came first? And this, well, before I ask that, this psychic episode that you had is so intriguing to me. It's so intriguing to me. Can you take me back to that day of what happened? Can you take us back?
It wasn't a day. It happened over a period of about 3 or 4 months. It was a process of about 3 to 4 months. I was just going through this thing, and I couldn't share it with anyone. I couldn't tell anyone, because everyone would be like, you're mad, like, basically. So I was going through this crazy internal thing, and I didn't really understand what was happening. I knew that there was a big change happening. I remember I'd gone to see a psychic myself. Big up Mandy Venus. Big her up in Ibiza.
What up, Mandy? What up?
And it was crazy because I remember seeing the numbers 555 almost constantly over this period. It was the summer of 2018. And so I kept seeing 555 everywhere. There's one particular day where it was like literally like almost like pressed upon me. And it was on my Oyster card. It was like on like my receipt, like I'd paid for something in the supermarket, and it was come up to £5, £5.55. And then I kept seeing it on the bus, like it was 555. Like it was just like literally everywhere. It was following me everywhere. And so I remember seeing this psychic, and then she said to me, she said, "Oh, I'm seeing that you're seeing the number 555 a lot." And she said, "Yeah, 5 means change. For those of you into numerology know, 5 is about change, shaking things up." And then I remember her looking, I said, yeah. And I said, "Wow, man, she's good." Like she saw it, And then she said to me, "I hope you've got some support around you at this time." And I remember thinking, like I've got friends, I'm cool. And now I know what she meant. She was like, kind of, you're going to need some help to with its transition. And I did. I did it in traditional therapy. I got a psychotherapist, and I did it in the therapeutic way. And I was able to really, and my life changed again. It's just a real big life change. It was a time of change, life change. And actually maybe the genesis of things that happened there is kind of what led me to be here now. So,
wow.
I can really see those seeds that were sown at that time. And it really created a lot of change, initiated a lot of change.
Now, what about as a child? did you have any psychic things happening to you as a child? Did you know things? Did you feel things?
Not that I remember. Not that I remember, to be honest. So I can't say, I was a childhood psychic. I can't say that. I mean, I definitely have always been very intuitive. I've definitely always been like someone that people come and speak to. I've definitely been that person, always like, if people want advice, I don't know why. I'm always that person as well, who, I will be cornered in a party with somebody telling me their whole life story. I'm that person who people want to tell me, like they just want to share, like people have that desire to share. I mean, literally I'll go to the supermarket and the checkout person is just like, I don't know. I'm like, how did we start? Anyway, they launch into it. They're like, yeah, you're the person I want to tell my story to today. So I kind of, and that's beautiful. It's a gift because it means people enough to share with me their parts of themselves that they want to be seen and witnessed. So I definitely think that gift has been obvious throughout my whole life. But probably like you, I didn't trust myself. I didn't think I knew any, you know what I mean? Like a real energy of self-doubt, I think, and, not very confident in myself. So I would never have thought that I could do that. I didn't trust myself enough.
I would see things as a child. I'm talking like young, probably like 5 or 6. I thought I was dreaming. Now I realize that I wasn't dreaming. I saw figures that I now realize that are Winnie the Pooh characters. I didn't put that together as a kid. Yeah, they were dancing across my legs. Then I look to my right. I see this figure sitting in my parents' chair. I was in my parents' room in their bed sleeping, and I see this figure with like a hat. And I likened it to Freddy Krueger. So it was in the 80s, right? So that's when Freddy Krueger was out. So I was like scared.
Oh, Ricky, I think we might have lost you again. I might just pick up from that. Just on the point of being scared. So how I found, are you still there, Ricky? So maybe I'll just continue. Maybe I'll waffle on. But yeah, just on that point of being scared of seeing figures of, seeing spirit. I don't personally see spirit. I hear spirit, I see spirit, but like in my mind's eye, but I've never had like, spirit in my room. Actually, that's a lie. I've definitely had presences before. But anyway, by the by, my friend who's a medium, she's a medium psychic. So she was the first person who kind of set up a healing circle. That was kind of when I found out my gifts in 2011. But she was always like, very similarly to you, Ricky, was like someone who used to see spirit and feel spirit like almost constantly, and was always really, really scared of them. And then she went to the spiritualist church, and they laughed at that. The psychic, like, that laughed at her, the platform psychic, and was like, it's not them you want to be scared of. It's the people in this world you want to be scared of. And I just thought that was really, really funny, because it's true. Like, we're so scared of spirit. But yeah, actually, it's actually the real living people. Like, not necessarily we should be scared of living people, but yeah. So I was just telling a story about my friend who's also a medium psychic who sees spirit and was scared, but got told by a psychic that, like, it's not the spirit she should be scared of. It's like the people in this world you want to be scared of. The spirit, they're not going to hurt you. You know what I mean? So, which I thought was funny.
It is funny. Yeah. So as a child, seeing that dark figure, with the lights off and everything, I think I blocked it out. You know what I mean? I was like, no. And then I believe that they removed it from me. The universe, the ancestors were like, okay, fine. Then we're not going to get in contact with you. I believe in certain ways they would drop their hints. And then as I started to get older, it just became more apparent to me that I'm special and that I have a gift. So then once I kept getting confirmation after confirmation after confirmation, I was like, okay, this is real. This is real. Okay, give it to me. 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 And since I've been living here in Costa Rica, amongst nature, uy, puñeta, in nature, like by myself, I have time to be independent in my own energy and be quiet. Since I haven't been drinking alcohol, okay? Since I haven't been drinking alcohol, I have become so clear. So clear. Wow. So this definitely resonates. So what came first, tarot or psychic?
Tarot. So I always used to read the cards. Intuitively. And now I work less with the cards. I mean, I bring them in sometimes, but predominantly I'm working without the cards now. They're kind of my prop if I need them, if I kind of need something to bounce off. But generally, and I find it's really difficult to work with both. It's a very, very different energetic channel.
Interesting.
So that's a new development. I mean, that's just definitely something that's happened in the last year, because very much like you, since being here in Costa Rica, definitely feeling like that vibration is raised, that attunement is being refined. So definitely those gifts have been honed just a little bit more, and just really able to connect in a more deeper and consistent way.
Wow. Woo! Come through, psychic abilities. Thank you, ancestors. Thank you, universe. Thank you, God, for allowing us to be a divine channel for y'all. For real.
But it is like, everyone says, it's a gift we all have it. Like, it is there. Like, we all have it. But like you say, I mean, these are things often that children have, because they don't have that filter, that veil that says, you know what I mean? That kind of this construct anymore.
Put you in the box of you're crazy or whatever. They're pure. They are pure, and they have that connection to source. Woo!
Yeah.
Wow.
Community. I just feel like, when you are a highly intuitive person and also surrounded by other highly intuitive people, I mean, it's kind of wild. Because everyone's feeling and picking, you know what I mean? We're all like in the soup, and we all feel it. We're all like it's quite incredible, so it's there's pros and cons to that, you know what I mean?
Absolutely.
It can be kind of intense still, but also, kind of creates a real field of awareness that we're all kind of feel very consciously plugged into, at least anyway, which feels amazing.
Absolutely. Wow. Well, thank you so much for being here with us. Let's get into these cards. I usually pull a card before I end the show. However, will you do the honors for us today?
I would be honored to. Yes. I've got my deck here. So I'm going to just pull. I'll see what comes out.
Okay.
So what's the question that we're asking?
What's in store for the collective for this new moon cycle? What do we have to look forward to? What do we have to look forward to?
Oh, I've dropped all the cards now. Hold on.
Oh, okay. Come through, tower moment. Oh gosh, is that a tower moment?
Oh my God, I pulled the tower today. The tower's in my reading today. Can you believe it? But it was a beautiful message, actually. It was a real beautiful. I was like, oh yeah, of course. It's new moon in Aquarius.
Yes, change. It's change. Time for change.
Of course. Let me just give it. It's because I'm trying to do this on my little desk here. Hang on. One more. Okay, so for the collective.
Yes.
Just a few cards, please, Spirit. For the collective, this next new moon cycle, what have you got to tell us? Show me, please, Spirit. So I usually just let them fall out. I'll just shuffle, see what comes out. So show me, Spirit. What do we need to know for the collective for this next new moon cycle, please? Show us, please. I'm not going to take all of those. There's too many. Okay. What we got here? All right. So we got the Page of Cups. Woo! We got the Ten of Cups. All right. Just let me get two more on that. All right. Ooh, wow. Ace of Swords come through. All right. Usually just do 3, but I'm going to do one more. Just one more. What else wants to come through, please, Spirit? OMG. This is a beautiful. This is, I have to, oh my God, and 9 of Cups at the bottom. Well, this is an incredibly beautiful, powerful, just to show you, I'm not shitting you. I'm not just, hold on. Where's my mic? Where's my camera?
Yes. Come through, High Priestess. I got the High Priestess right here.
Yes. So we got the Page of Cups, who's our intuitive, our empath. I call the Page of Cups is the empath. She's like the young one who just feeling so much in the world. And, and again, for my empaths out there, my highly sensitive people who are just thinking, oh my God, I'm so sensitive. This is like, it's too much. It's too overwhelming. It's a gift. It's very much a gift. And so it just feels like here, so you got the 10 of Cups. This really feels like, and 10 of Cups is like one of the happiest cards in the deck. It's really about, and you've got the 9 of Cups at the bottom, which is about wish fulfillment. It's about contentment. Where is my heart's desire? What's that rainbow over the rainbow that comes after the storm? The thing that is my reward after all of my hard work and my perseverance. And this tells me very much that we find this through our sensitivity, through our connection to our emotions, through that connection to our feeling center, that sometimes, like I said, when we talk about, ignoring our womb space, it's like that place that we want to shut down because sometimes it's too much. We live in a very industrialized, hard, competitive world. It's very difficult to be a sensitive and a creative in that environment. So it really does feel like actually that is the key to our success. That is the way through, is through our connection to our heart, our feeling space, our sensitivity. And then you got the Ace of Swords with the High Priestess, which says to me, trust yourself. That says, trust yourself. You do know, you do know.
Yes,
and
you do, bitch.
Information. And I can imagine, when we're sensitive, and I know this, from experience, when you're like a highly sensitive person, you have that sense of questioning. Is it me? Am I going? Because I can't make this work. I'm not figuring it out in this world. I can't really get with it. And this is saying, trust yourself. You do know the answers. You are connected. You're connected to.
You do know the answer. You do. You do.
Your truth, and and if you follow your truth, there is rewards. There are rewards. You will reap that, and whatever that is for you, whatever that rainbow is. In the 10 of Cups, it's the family life. The partner, the kids, the house, the dog, whatever it is. But it might be something else. Maybe it's a little coffee shop. Maybe it's opening a little library for kids. Maybe it's doing healing work in hospital. Whatever that is for you, your rainbow over the sky. That deepest wish. That place of deep happiness for us, connecting with nature, whatever that is. And it feels like, if you don't connect to your heart, if you don't connect to your feeling space, your feeling function, how will you ever invite that into your life? So, trust it, know it, connect to it, and it shall be yours.
Ooh, I love that. I love that. I love that. And I love you.
I love you. What a beautiful message. I'm so glad it came. I'm so glad it came out like that. I was like,
yes,
no one's going to come through, but that is
come through. Can you please send me pictures of those cards? And if you could just write up a little synopsis so I can just post it on the Instagram for the people.
Yes, of course. Absolutely.
Thank you. And please, before we get out of here, tell the people where they can get into contact with you.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. So skiesandflora.com is my website. So that's where you'll find out more about my work. You can read some of my blogs. You can kind of book to come and see a session with me. I work online and in person. And that's got all my contact details. So you can call me, you can email me, you can WhatsApp me, or you can find me on social media, Instagram, etc. So Skies and Flora or Shaka Lish, you'll find me that way. So I haven't changed my name just yet. So Shaka Lish for now. So yeah.
Yes. And I'll see you tomorrow at yoga.
At 8 a.m.
8 a.m. 8 a.m. 8 a.m.
Yes.
8 a.m. That's right. I don't stay sexy like this. Just, you know,
Yes.
just because. Okay, I work on this body every morning.
What
You feel
guns?
me?
Pow, pow,
Yes.
pow.
Okay.
Yes.
I got abs too, y'all. I got abs too. Come at me.
And I have to pay absolute respect. Ricky, you are incredibly dedicated to your practice. I love it. You show up, you do it, you practice. It's like, you know, and that's it. And that's what I say about yoga. It's just a practice. You just got to show up and surrender the rest. That's it. And that's what my recent blog is about. Really. It's just practice, surrender the rest. Yeah.
Come through. I got to check out that blog post. Well, I love you, Shaka, for coming. Thank you so much. And I love y'all for watching, those who are watching now and those who will watch in the future. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, hit that share button. Follow me on Instagram. You can cash at me if you're feeling generous. Of course, thank you. Holla at me through my email. And of course, energy healing services, Reiki, human design, and so much more. Head to my website. That's www.thebutterflyhippie.com. Okay, holla at me there to book your sesh.
And I definitely recommend Access Bars. Amazing, absolutely amazing. So
come through. The Feather wants to make a debut. Say hi, Feather.
Hi, Feather.
The Feather just told me I want to say hi. All right, there you go. The Feather wanted to say hi. All right, and also before we get out of here, remember, ask, believe, act, allow, receive. Okay. I love y'all. I'll see you next week. We got a guest, daughter of Papa. She's going to be checking in with us from Australia. Yo, you don't want to miss this. You don't want to miss this. I'll see you next week. Happy full new moon in Aquarius. Gotta go.
Thanks, Ricky. Bye everyone.
Bye.